welcome to Tales of Honor Podcast, a podcast dedicated to telling the true stories of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tales of Honor Podcast, the only podcast dedicating to telling the true stories of every Medal of Honor recipient. I'm your host, Christoph Ambrosch, and today's episode is episode 176 and takes place during World War II. And now, a tale of honor. Harold was born on the 29th of January, 1925, in Racine, Wisconsin. He briefly worked for the wrench manufacturing company as a multigraph operator, and at the age of 17, he enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps. Harold completed his recruit training in San Diego at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot and was then assigned to the Headquarters and Service Battery, 4th Battalion, 10th Marines of the 2nd Marine Division. He deployed to New Zealand on the 3rd of November, 1942, and trained for the next 11 months in Wellington. Harold took part in the fighting on Betio Island as a private first class, and then went to the Hawaiian Islands with the 2nd Marine Division to train for the invasion of Saipan. He landed on Saipan on the 10th of June, 1944, and the fighting went on for 3 weeks when the enemy launched a counterattack on the 7th of July. It was on this day that Harold's actions would later earn him the Medal of Honor. The citation reads, "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty while serving with the 4th Battalion, 10th Marines, 2nd Marine Division in action against enemy Japanese forces on Saipan, Marianas Islands, July 7, 1944. When the enemy launched a fierce, determined counterattack against our positions and overran a neighboring artillery battalion, PFC Agerholm immediately volunteered to assist in the efforts to check the hostile attack and evacuate our wounded. Locating and appropriating an abandoned ambulance jeep, he repeatedly made extremely perilous trips under heavy rifle and mortar fire and single-handedly loaded and evacuated approximately 45 casualties, working tirelessly and with utter disregard for his own safety during a grueling period of more than 3 hours. Despite intense, persistent enemy fire, he ran out to aid 2 men whom he believed to be wounded Marines, but was himself mortally wounded by a Japanese sniper while carrying out his hazardous mission. PFC Agerholm's brilliant initiative, great personal valor, and self-sacrificing efforts in the face of almost certain death reflect the highest credit upon himself and the U.S. Naval Service. He gallantly gave his life for his country." Harold's mother received his posthumous Medal of Honor from the Commandant of the 9th Naval District in a private ceremony, a request she had made for no public presentation. A U.S. destroyer, a combined elementary and middle school in Racine, and a gun park near the 10th Marine Regiment headquarters in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, were all named in honor of the 19-year-old Harold. Originally buried in the 2nd Marine Division Cemetery in Saipan, Harold Christ Agerholm is now buried in the Mound Cemetery in Racine, Wisconsin, Block 4E, Lot 8, Grave 4. And that was a Tale of Honor. Thank you for listening to Tales of Honor Podcast. I really mean thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please head on over to talesofhonorpodcast.com to learn more information and to also learn about other ways that you can listen and support the podcast. Please leave a good rating and nice review wherever it is you listen to this podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can send them on over to talesofhonorpodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, I'm Christoph Ambrosch. Thanks for listening.